I did a drug trial 3 months ago. I need to tell someone what happened. I keep thinking I should go to the news, or find a lawyer, or something. But the NDA I signed? Pretty sure it's airtight. And anyway, who's going to believe me? The researchers don't. Every time I call, I get the same line: all test subjects recovered normally within 72 hours of the neutralizing agent. But I know what I know: 6 years of pain. Ever since I blew out both knees playing college ball. The doctors gave it a name: severe bilateral patellofemoral pain syndrome with cartilage degeneration. What it meant was this: every step felt like grinding glass. Every stair was a negotiation. Some nights I'd end up on the kitchen floor. Heating pads on both knees, just rocking. Crying. Not even trying to stop. I tried everything. PT, cortisone, anti-inflammatories, opioids that made me sick and constipated and almost got me hooked. The bills already bankrupted me once. I was working a desk job that barely covered rent, forget the doctor visits, saw the ad for a clinical trial, $2,500 for a month-long study of some revolutionary long-acting analgesic. I called that same day. Neurovantage was in one of those glass buildings downtown. The kind with valet parking and fake plants that probably cost more than my rent. Waiting room had leather chairs, abstract art, magazines that weren't ancient. Dr. Sarah Chen looked mid-40s. Maybe. Graying hair, sharp eyes. She talked like someone who didn't need you to trust her, because you already did. It's called NX-47, she said, pushing a stack of papers across the desk. Synthetic compound. Blocks pain signals at the cellular level. 1 injection, 4 weeks of relief. I stopped reading. 4 weeks. No pain. I didn't care what the rest said. After injection into the gluteus maximus, the compound is slowly metabolized by the liver. Most subjects report complete pain relief within 6 hours and no adverse effects. Most subjects. I should have asked about the others. The shot was nothing. Nurse took me to a room, had me lie face down, gave me the injection. Felt like any other needle. Quick. Forgettable. Dr. Chen told me to keep a daily journal documenting any effects, positive or negative. And to call immediately if I experienced anything concerning. I drove home expecting nothing to happen for hours. But somewhere on the freeway, I realized I'd been unconsciously shifting my weight in the driver's seat, trying to find a comfortable position for my knees. Then I noticed I wasn't doing it anymore. By the time I parked in my driveway, the constant low-level ache that had been my companion for 6 years was gone. That night? 8 hours straight. First time since college. Next morning, I started the journal. Day 1, October 15th, woke up at 7:30. No alarm, slept straight through. 8 hours, I haven't done that in years. Usually I'm up 3-4 times a night, every time I roll over. The knees flare up. Getting out of bed felt weird, I kept bracing for it. That grinding glass feeling. But it didn't come. I walked to the kitchen. Just walked. No limping, no favoring one side, no grabbing the wall. Made coffee. Stood there drinking it. Just stood there. I didn't realize how much I'd been shifting, leaning, adjusting, until I wasn't. Tried walking around the block. Made it halfway. My knees didn't hurt, but my legs felt weak. Like I'd been in bed for months. I guess I've been guarding my knees so long the rest of me forgot how to move. Weird thing at lunch though, I bit my tongue. Not that hard, just one of those accidental bites. But it barely registered. No wince, no sharp jolt. Just, distant. Maybe I'm so focused on the pain being gone that everything else feels muted. Dr. Chen called tonight. Asked how I was doing. I told her everything was perfect. She sounded pleased. Said to keep documenting everything. Even positive changes can be significant data points. I didn't ask what kind of changes she meant. Day 2, October 16th, something happened last night. I'm still shaking, got up around 3 to pee. Half asleep, still not used to sleeping through the night, stumbled in the dark. Hit my pinky toe on the dresser. Jesus. It felt like someone crushed my whole foot with a hammer. I dropped. Couldn't scream. Just these awful choking sounds while I grabbed at it. Crawled to the light switch. Thought I'd see blood. Bone. Something torn open, but there was barely anything. Just a red dot. I sat on the bathroom floor staring at it. 20 minutes, maybe more. The pain faded, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. It felt like the worst injury I've ever had. From stubbing my toe. My knees are still perfect. No pain at all. But that toe thing won't leave me alone. It keeps looping in my head. Something's happening. I know it. Day 3, October 17th, called in sick today. Couldn't focus after last night. Thought maybe some fresh air would help. It was nice out, mid-70s, light breeze. I sat on the back patio for 10 minutes, then my skin started burning. At first I thought I was imagining it. Maybe I was still shaken up. But it kept getting worse. It felt like I was under a heat lamp. It quickly moved from warm to scorching, then it got worse. My arms, face, neck, every exposed part felt like it was pressed against a stove. I ran inside. The second I crossed the door, it stopped. I stood in the kitchen, breathing hard, trying to make sense of it, then I realized. The sun. Normal sunlight felt like torture. I called Neurovantage around 3. Got bounced around until someone picked up. Said she was Dr. Chen's assistant. I told her what happened. Long pause. Have you experienced any other unusual sensations? Her voice was flat. Careful. Like she was reading something. I told her about the toe. Another pause. Mr. Patterson, these sound like normal adjustment responses. Please continue documenting everything and call us if symptoms worsen significantly. Normal adjustment? I can't go outside. The compound affects neural pathways in complex ways. Temporary hypersensitivity isn't unusual. She sounded like she'd said it before. I asked if other people had gone through this. She said she couldn't discuss other cases. Before hanging up, she reminded me about their emergency line. If absolutely necessary, my knees still feel perfect. No pain at all. Whatever this drug is doing, it's doing exactly what they said it would. But everything else feels off. Day 4, October 18th. I'm writing this at 2:47 a.m. because I can't sleep and I need to get this down while it's still fresh. Temperature dropped tonight. Must have hit the low 50s because the heater kicked on around midnight. I was lying in bed when I heard the click of the thermostat, then the whoosh of air through the vents. The first breath of warm air hit my face and I thought I was going to die. It felt like opening an oven and sticking my head inside. The air from the vent, which is usually soft and warm, hit my skin like steam. I rolled off the bed and hit the floor, gasping. My whole body felt like it was being scalded. I crawled to the hallway and shut off the thermostat. Then I lay on the bathroom tiles until the burning stopped. Took 15 minutes before I could think straight again. I checked my skin in the mirror. Nothing. No redness, no marks. Just normal skin. It felt like third-degree burns, but there was nothing. I'm sitting here now wearing 3 layers with the windows cracked open. The house is freezing but I can't risk turning the heat back on. This isn't normal adjustment. Something's going wrong in my nervous system. The drug was supposed to block pain, but it's like it's amplifying everything else. A breeze feels like sandpaper. My sheets felt like steel wool when I tried to get back in bed. I keep thinking about the assistant's voice. The way she paused when I described it. Like she was checking something. Comparing symptoms to a list. I'm going to call the emergency line. I can't keep doing this. Day 5, October 19th, I'm back home, called Neurovantage at 4 in the morning. Got transferred 3 times before someone could schedule an emergency appointment. Dr. Chen was unavailable. They said Dr. Martinez could see me at 10, I was driving downtown when the hunger hit. Started as normal stomach rumbling. Within minutes it felt like my insides were being shredded. I pulled into a gas station, doubled over the steering wheel, gasping. Thought maybe something ruptured. I stumbled into the store and grabbed the first thing I saw. Box of powdered donuts. Tore it open and started eating right there in the aisle. Clerk stared at me. I didn't care. I ate 4, fast, shoving them in until the pain stopped. He asked if I was okay. I mumbled something about low blood sugar and bought the rest of the box. Dr. Martinez was younger than Chen. Nervous. Kept asking about my pain tolerance baseline. Checked a tablet while I talked. When I told him about the heater incident, he nodded like he'd heard it before. We can administer a neutralizing compound, he said. It should counteract the NX-47 within 24 hours. The needle looked normal. Standard vaccine type. When it went in, I screamed. It felt like a red-hot poker. Pain shot up my arm and through my whole body. I started hyperventilating. Vision went black around the edges. Next thing I knew, I was on the floor. Martinez was kneeling beside me, asking if I could hear him. The effects appear to be intensifying, he said to someone else in the room. We should document the timeline more carefully. I wanted to ask what he meant by that. Couldn't speak. Just focused on breathing. It's been 6 hours since the shot. Still hypersensitive. The tags in my shirt feel like razor blades. My neighbor's dog barking makes my skin crawl. Please let this work. I can't live like this. Day 6, October 20th, the shot didn't work. Or if it did, it's taking its sweet time about it. Everything is backwards now. Everything. Made hot chocolate this morning. First sip tasted like poison. Like licking a battery. Spit it out and dropped the mug. The mug hit my hand and broke on the floor. Should have hurt. It felt incredible. A wave of pure bliss shot up my arm. Better than any painkiller I've ever taken. Had to grab the counter to keep from falling over. The bruise is getting darker and it feels amazing every time I touch it. I can't eat. Everything tastes like ash. Water tastes like metal. But pain, oh God, pain feels like heaven. I have scratches on my arms. Don't remember making them. 3 lines on each side. They feel good. I keep catching myself trying to make more. Had to leave the kitchen because I kept staring at the broken pieces of the mug. This is sick. I know it's sick. But I can't stop thinking about it. Food is poison. Pain is pleasure. What did they do to me? Went to Neurovantage. Couldn't wait. It's the weekend and the building was locked, but I saw movement in the windows upstairs. Banged on the door until security came down. I need Dr. Chen. Now. She came down 20 minutes later. Tired eyes. Overworked. She wasn't surprised. She knew, Mr. Patterson. How are you feeling? Fix this. Please. Whatever you did to me, fix it. She told me to follow her upstairs. The elevator was too bright. The humming too loud. Everything was too much, but I needed answers. Her office looked different. The abstract art on the walls seemed to move when I wasn't looking straight at it. She sat behind her desk and opened a file. Thicker than I remembered. The occasional hypersensitivity phase typically lasts only 2 to 6 hours, she said, her eyes focused on the files. Then the neural pathways begin to reorganize. What does that mean? NX-47 doesn't just block pain signals, Mr. Patterson. It alters how your nervous system processes sensory input. The initial effect is complete analgesia for the targeted pain source. But the compound continues working, remapping your entire pain response system. You knew this would happen. The inversion is temporary. In most cases, your system should return to baseline within 2 to 3 days. She closed the file. Some subjects experience profound neurological changes. The compound appears to reverse the polarity of pain and pleasure receptors in approximately 2% of test subjects. This should only last a few days. You should be able to manage. Should manage? I can't eat food. I can't go outside. I can't touch anything without wanting to scream or hurt myself. The cravings for self-harm are concerning, but they typically diminish as the neutralizing compound works through the system. You're talking about me like I'm a lab rat. She looked up. Mr. Patterson, you signed a comprehensive consent form acknowledging the experimental nature of NX-47. All potential side effects were disclosed. Potential side effects? You buried this in 40 pages of medical jargon. The compensation was commensurate with the risk level. I wanted to hit something. The urge was so strong I had to grip the arms of the chair. How many people have you done this to? NX-47 has shown remarkable success in eliminating chronic pain conditions. The preliminary trials have been very promising. How many, Dr. Chen? Patient confidentiality prevents me from discussing specific numbers, but there are others, yes. There are others. What if I report this? What if I go to the FDA? Mr. Patterson, you voluntarily enrolled in an FDA-approved clinical trial. All procedures were conducted according to federal guidelines. Your signature is on every consent document, but you didn't tell me this would happen. We informed you that NX-47 was an experimental compound with unknown long-term effects. The neurological remapping was listed as a possible outcome in Section 12 of the consent documentation. I tried to remember Section 12. Tried to remember reading any of it carefully. But I'd been desperate. All I saw was the promise of 4 weeks without knee pain. She stood up. Mr. Patterson, I understand you're distressed. But the compound has accomplished exactly what you hoped it would. Your chronic pain is gone. The side effects are manageable with proper support. The neutralizing agent will completely stop the side effects within the next few days. And unfortunately, the pain will return as well. I was escorted out. Dejected. Tired. Day 8, October 22nd. Something's happening to my perception. Colors look more intense, but also distorted. The red numbers on my alarm clock look like they're bleeding. The green light on the coffee maker pulses like a heartbeat. Sounds are unbearable. My neighbor's leaf blower sounds like a hurricane. The refrigerator hum makes my teeth ache. The mirror is the worst part. I look the same, but something's off. Like I'm seeing myself from a slight angle, even when I'm standing straight. My eyes look darker, tired, different. I called Neurovantage to ask about visual disturbances. Same assistant answered. Put me on hold for 5 minutes, came back and said, perceptual changes are within normal parameters for NX-47 subjects, normal parameters. Everything is normal parameters with them, the scratches and bruises are healing. I miss them. I miss how they felt. I keep thinking about making new ones. That's not normal. That can't be normal parameters. Day 9, October 23rd. This morning I woke up and my nerve endings were growing outside my skin. I could see them. Hair-thin silver wires coming out of every inch of me, spreading across the sheets like spider webs. They pulsed with each heartbeat. I could watch signals traveling through them, little flashes of light moving along the strands. The wires were connecting to everything. The lamp, the alarm clock, the heating vent. Every time something made noise or changed temperature, I felt it through the wires. When the furnace kicked on, pleasure flooded my system. When a car drove past, the vibrations came up through the floor and into the network. Each pulse felt better than anything I've ever known. I touched one. It was like touching my own brain. I felt the electricity of my nervous system, raw and unfiltered. The euphoria was so intense I blacked out. When I came to, I was on the floor next to the bed. Blood on my hands. The wires were still there, still connected to everything, but some were broken. The broken ends sparked. Each spark sent waves of ecstasy through me. I crawled to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. The wires were everywhere. Face, scalp, arms. They moved when I breathed. In the reflection, I saw them spreading behind me, a silver web linking me to every surface. I knew it couldn't be real. Nerve endings don't grow outside the body. But I could feel every wire. I could trace their paths. When I brushed against the door frame, pleasure shot through the wires and dropped me to my knees. I called 911. The paramedics couldn't see the wires. They walked through them. Every time they touched one, I screamed. One kept saying, "Sir, there's nothing there," while the other prepared a sedative, but I could feel his radio. I could feel the engine of the ambulance. I could feel everything. They sedated me. The needle went in and I watched the drug move through one of the wires like dark fluid in a clear tube. It felt incredible. Better than the scratches. Better than the broken mug. Better than anything. Now I'm in the psychiatric ward. The doctors can't see the wires, but they're still here. They've spread further. They reach across the room to the medical equipment, the other patients, the electrical systems in the walls. I can feel everything the hospital feels. Every heartbeat from the monitors. Every breath from the ventilators. Every pulse from every machine. The nurse came in to check my four. She walked through a cluster of wires and I had to bite my tongue to keep from moaning. She made a note on my chart about continued visual hallucinations and left. They don't understand. The wires aren't hallucinations. They're adaptations. My nervous system is evolving. NX-47 is turning me into something that can experience everything as pleasure. They kept me here for 3 days. Sedated and restrained. First night was the worst. The 4-needle felt like molten metal. But good molten metal. The dry sheets of the hospital bed felt like sandpaper and sent waves of pleasure over my skin. The heart monitor beeped steadily. Each beep felt like a tiny shock in my ears. I started timing my breathing to match the beeps, trying to make it stronger. Second night, the wires started fading. I was sad to see them go. They ran every test. Blood work, MRI, neurological exams. Dr. Rodriguez kept asking about drug use like I was some junkie. All the tests came back normal. Perfect. My knee cartilage looked better than it had in years. Sometimes the mind can play tricks when we're under stress. He said. Dr. Chen visited on the second day. She brought a man in a suit. Said Neurovantage would cover all hospital costs as a courtesy. Didn't mention the $2,500 from the study. I didn't ask. Money feels pointless when you can't tell if you're losing your mind. By the third day, things started changing back. The 4-needle just felt like a needle. Food tasted like food again. And the pain came back. Slow at first, then stronger. My knees feel like they're grinding again. I should be relieved. Instead I feel like I lost something. Like waking up from the best dream I've ever had. They discharged me this afternoon. Bottle of ibuprofen. Pamphlet about stress management. Dr. Rodriguez shook my hand and wished me luck with my adjustment period. Got home and found 3 lawyers sitting in my driveway, black sedan. Tinted windows. Waiting by the front door. One was the same suit from the hospital. He had a briefcase full of papers. Mr. Patterson, we need to discuss your recent medical expenses. The hospital bill was $47,000. They said they'd pay it all, but only if I signed their agreement. Liability waiver. Non-disclosure. Nothing unusual. I started reading the fine print. My hands were shaking from rage. The papers said I'd never talk about what happened. Never seek more medical care related to the trial. Never contact other test subjects. If I broke any of it, I'd owe them the full hospital cost plus damages. What if I don't sign? The lawyer smiled. then you're responsible for your own medical expenses and their consequences. $47,000. I don't have $47,000, I signed. My knees are killing me tonight. Back to the old pain like the last few days never happened. I should be grateful. That was 2 months ago, but I keep thinking about the silver wires. The way they pulsed. The way they connected me to everything. What if I wasn't hallucinating? What if they know I wasn't? What if I could reach out and feel them again? I'm calling Neurovantage tomorrow.